Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be covering Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin and going over a little bit of analysis that I think you should be paying attention to, and maybe it can be something, in my opinion, that would help you in your future in your future investments, or if you lack of investments if you're trying to get out of that. But we'll cover that now. If you haven't already, subscribe, drop a comment below, support the channel by clicking that bell icon to stay up to date with our videos. So let's start off with Bitcoin. Bitcoin today is trading around 29,073. We've covered in some previous videos about how it can go down. Potentially, I was believing it's going to hit 25. If you caught that, you can go back to our other videos and check that out as well. But overall, it is in a downtrend. Believe it or not, we were moving kind of in some sideways actions, but it's starting to actually look like it's going to a range and then dip and a range and a dip, right? So this is kind of what we have going on, some fighting happening and taking place and going about this market structures. Of course, if you're not new to the channel, you understand that I speak about this quite often because I'm a very strong believer that it's always going back, and it's always going back to some major moves. And well, this is what it's just showing you exactly how that's working, right? So either way, like I said, it's going down to 29.73. Potentially, I believe it's going to hit 25. That's my opinion. The volume of it is starting to kind of, well, it's kind of starting to get somewhat normal. But the issue here is that it is trying to reverse back to some previous moments, and that being back in April. April, we had a big shot up, and this was that market structure here, that area, so around 28,000. And it can even come up here to the previous one, and that's why I'm believing it's going to touch back down to around 25. And let me just move this up right here in this moment back in March. This was quite bigger than the previous one, so I believe we're going to eventually touch down. So we're going to have a bit of a ladder step kind of moving. And what I mean by that is if when it's kind of coming off into a range for a little bit for a few days, and then it's dipping back down, and then a range, and then that back down, kind of like stairs, like stairs really. So this is what we have. We have 29, we'll have 28, well 28, 20 or so, and then I believe we'll have around 26. And some fighting going on, and then eventually we're going to top back down to around 25,000 before we start to see some kind of actions taking place. Now, this isn't a solid thing because it is, well, buy the news or sell the news, however you're doing, right? So whatever your structure is. Now, I go mostly by the swing trading, day trading, so I'm always on the daily chart. I find it there unless I'm trying to, of course, make my analysis, and then I'll jump down just to kind of clarify and verify where I'm going to get throughout the day, and then I'll jump down to the 4 hour. But typically, the daily chart is what I go by. Now, like I said, it looks like we're kind of starting to continue to go down right here. We had that big candle, that swallowing candle, and then of course it looks and it verified for me. Typically, that rule of three where it continues down with the candles is building up at this point. Now there's still around 16 hours in a day, depending on how this candle is going to close. It will pretty much give me a strong bias on where I should go with my trade. So I believe it's going to actually go down, at least touch around 28,000 before too long. Now it may not happen all automatically because we have still some previous support, some previous resistance, kind of taking place where it's going to kind of stop that from happening so dramatically, and that's what we have the last few days and so forth in these ranges. That's what these ranges are, well, typically consisting of, is those previous supports and resistances, the buying and selling that's happening, and sprinkle a little news on that, and that's what you have your price action kind of jumping off of. So right now, like I said, it's around 28,025 is going to be the goal, not really the goal, but what's happening. So this area right here from this moment, and let me just kind of give you a point. So this area right here, I believe, is going to be the end point where we're going to touch because of this huge, massive candle from here. And even more so, we can see that when we come back down that we could potentially touch around 24,000. But 26, 25 is an area to pay attention to. If we're going to be fighting, we're going to touch that, but we need to rebound up. So because we have those huge jumps, and this is why I don't believe that people should actually be trading on these massive to the moon ideas, is because when you go into side of that, uh, if it's at a low point, we're going to touch back down. Now, for example, if it drops really strong, really significantly, and it builds that huge market structure or reset on the structure, then we can come back up. But when it shoots up in that lower point, we could potentially reach that again, depending on how you're trading. If you are going long, of course, that's a bad thing. All right, if you're going short, when it's actually that's a good thing. So depending on how you're trading or what you're looking at, but everybody wants to jump up really high or really low. That's not a really healthy market in this moment. So Bitcoin is one of those right now that is famous for that. So and other coins as well. But right now, as you can see, my bias on it is actually quite bearish. So I believe it's going to continue to go down in some moments now. We may reach back up to this point later on. We'll just have to see. We need some more data kind of coming in for this, but the volume's some kind of okay, but it's still getting pushed down. Not enough information for a reversal and for it to actually reverse to come up, because typically when that volume's low and the price is showing along with it, it will kind of reverse and go up. But right now, it's kind of normalized, which means it's a steady track and in the downtrend. So pay attention to that. Don't get caught up. All right, and I lost my connection, and here we go. All right, so Ethereum is trading around 1833. I'm expecting 2000 again at some point. Now we are looking also at a downtrend. It's following Bitcoin. You know that story already, and this is where it's moving. Now also that kind of range happening in places, the same thing, moving in. So this is what we need to see, right? We have 1800 to pay attention to, right? Because you're gonna see some resistance when it's going down, which is good, and that's what we're kind of seeing right now. But like I said, 16 hours in that day, and it can stop around, I believe around 1800 exactly. So if it's 1830, it can drop another $30, giving it. But the price is also getting rejected right now, pretty strong, and so this is coming from this previous resistance level. Moving in as well, because we have a few points. Now, why I said that you can go back up to around 2000 is from this market structure back here in April. But also in the same note, we can come back down to around 1700, also because of this pump coming in right here in the ending of June. We can reach back into that moment before we do. It loves to and come back and retest and recheck and so forth. Now, the scary news, if we're going by that rule, we can even potentially hit 1500, and that is possible. I mean, it's not the first time, especially since we've came up here back in 2022 in December. We had that massive fall. But pay attention to that. As far as Solana goes, also downtrend. Ethereum, we have this resistance kind of coming in at 27 bucks. It's around 2022. But kind of far away for right now. We're kind of moving in also around 25, which is hard, but we're dropping back down. It'll start to slow down around 22.9 or 10 or so, because we have this point of contact here, and well, here in the beginning of July, these moments here as in June and so forth. So it's going to be kind of a strong support level eventually. Now, 17 bucks it can potentially reach to as well. But 22 is going to be pretty good to kind of a solid ground, because we have somewhat of a market structure based on that. Now we also have this big one moving in, coming up as well, so we can kind of touch back around 25. So watch that and kind of keep an eye and follow us up for more videos as well. But the volume here, what gives me a more bias for Solana is not just that it's going to reach back up to around 30 bucks or so. It's the fact that the volume is quite low. The price is falling now, and it's kind of showing me that I should be paying attention to once if we can kind of break out. So once we get past the trend line, the volume's still low, then it's kind of giving me a few points to pay attention to that bullish reversal, so it can actually start to move up and make some cash. Now, is it going to go really high? I hope not, for the fact that I'm on a healthy market for this, but to at least touch around 25, 27 or so again soon. Now, don't get me wrong, 25 bucks is going to be a little bit of a fight to push through, but we need to get to that one to get to the next. But the market as a whole, right? So the market cap on the daily, Bitcoin's down 2%, Ethereum's down by 1.5, XRP is 3.5, not very good. Cardano is 3.6%, Solana is minus 4.7, So the whole market for the day looks like trash. Honestly, Matic is 3.1, and for the weekly, you can see it's not much better. Solana actually crashed down by about 10%. For the weekly, Litecoin minus 5.6, which is kind of strange because they're getting ready to halve. And Matic, I can't really see that. Okay, yeah, 6.3. Dot is 5.4. AVAX 6.7. Doge, and so forth, right? So yeah, I would expect Hex too to start falling. Where is Hex? I can't find it right this moment. Hex here. I'm going to be expecting Hex to fall down. I believe they're getting ready to enter a lawsuit as well. They have some problems. So pay attention if you own Hex and take a look at that as well, because we could be in for some juicy gossip coming in. All right, guys, that's all I have for the video. Subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Where are we going to touch 25 for Bitcoin? Are we going to touch 1,800 bucks? Are we going to touch 2,000 for Ethereum? And are we finally going to get past the $25 mark for Solana? All right, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.